Welcome into another episode of the Los Angeles Rams Insider Podcast on Sports Illustrated from the Fans First Sports Network. My name is Tom Cavanaugh. You can follow me at TCAV30 on Twitter/X and follow our insider pages at Rams Insider on SI, both on Twitter/X and on Facebook. Today we're going to be looking at the finals storylines of Week 15. The Rams get the Sunday off. They can just kind of kick back, enjoy their weekend, but also going to have to pay attention to some Sunday night football. That game has a lot of big implications on where the Rams stand in the NFC West. We'll hit with that in a minute, but kind of want to start with a few of the individuals on this Rams team coming out of the Niners game on Thursday night. Starting with quarterback Matthew Stafford. Saw a stat that Stafford is 11-1 in the month of December as a Ram. Over his 4 years, he's played 12 games. He's combined for 24 touchdown passes and 6 interceptions, and it just speaks to his level of consistency late in the year. You see teams, they get off to a hot start, and then when you get into late November, December is when the wheels start to fall off. But it's vice versa for Stafford and whatever team he's playing for, specifically with the Rams. I mean, the guy just he balls out when it's a make or break situation, especially the last 2 years. When you go 7-1 to finish out and clinch a wild card spot at 10-7, and then this year you start 1-4 and you've won 7 of your last 9 games, and you're back within a half game of first place in the division. I mean, I know it's a full team effort, but Matthew Stafford has a lot to do with that. And his success late in the year, being able to step up in big moments when they need him the most, it's really impressive. I mean, the guy's in his 16th year in the league. He's a seasoned veteran. He knows how to play the game the right way, and he makes the right decisions almost every single time. I mean, you talk about this year alone, guy's got 8 touchdown passes in his last 5 games without an interception. I know he came up with double zeros. No touchdowns, no picks against the Niners, but that game didn't feature any touchdowns at all. I mean, you go back to that game against the Patriots. I'm sorry, you got 12 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. I said 8. No. It's 12 dating back to the Patriots game in the middle of November. I mean, he hasn't thrown an interception since the Dolphins game when they lost, weren't able to score a touchdown in that one. And, I mean, he did have a little bit of a streak midway through this year. Stafford had himself a 6-game streak of throwing an interception, spanning from the Bears game at the end of September all the way until mid-November with the Dolphins. And since he's put up a goose egg in that interception column, 12 touchdowns to no interceptions in his last 6 games. I mean, that's good stuff. And I know a couple of those games aren't in the month of December, but it still speaks to his ability to step up when they need him most. When backs against the wall at the end of the year. Another guy we want to hit on is rookie kicker Joshua Carty. Carty over the past several games had not been his best, but his last 2, I mean, he's back on track. Found his footing, if you will. You go back to that Dolphins game we were talking about Stafford with. He was 5 of 6 kicking field goals. I mean, even if he kicks that 6th one, they probably still don't win that game. But he missed one there. The very next week against the Patriots, he went 0 for 1 on field goals from inside of 30 yards. Against the Eagles, he had a 40-yarder that he missed. He was 0 for 2 there. And coming in to the Niner game, he had just gone 1 for 1 against the Bills. So when you look at it, he'd missed 3 out of his last 4 kicks. And then he goes into San Francisco to Levi Stadium and knocks through 4. He had 3 of them inside of 30 yards and then knocked a 48-yarder to really kickstart the scoring at the end of the half. It's huge when a guy, turns the corner like this. Throughout the year, I mean, he had been shaky. 4 of 5 against the Bears, 0 for 1 against Vegas way back in October. He's a rookie coming out of Stanford, 6th round pick. I mean, he wasn't highly touted as one of the best kickers in the league, but there's going to be a learning curve there for a young guy like Josh Carty, and I think he's found that. Carty he was interviewed after the 49er game, and he was quoted talking about his regular season, saying, "I've learned a lot this year and I had some ups and downs. There was a stretch in there where it was pretty rough, and there was only one way out of it. That's to just keep putting it in the work, keep kicking. I've learned it's a long season, 17 weeks. One game doesn't define you, whether it's good or bad." I mean, that's a veteran talking through a rookie right there. Just kind of like made the analogy in the story as well. Just like a 3-point shooter that hasn't made a shot in a minute. All you got to do to work out of the slump is continue to shoot the basketball, continue to put the kicks up, continue to swing that leg, and have as much confidence as you did to open the year or when you were 4 for 4 coming off the Niner game. You want to hold that same exact sort of confidence that you can make any kick at any time. And I think Carty's coming into his own. He's a big piece to this offense because when they get into playoff time, if this team makes it, he's going to be relied on heavily to come up with a big kick here or there. And he did in the Niner game. I mean, that was a must-win game for the Los Angeles Rams. And they were down 3-0 towards the end of the half, did not want to go scoreless in the first half for the second time in 3 weeks. He said, I got you guys. 48-yarder right down the middle. He posted it. And I mean, that definitely instilled some confidence and helped out for him to make the next 3. And that's all she wrote, getting a big 12-6 win over the Niners due to Josh Carty's leg. Transitioning now, we're going to talk about a game that does not involve the Rams, but does involve the NFC West. And the Rams is, positioning in the division. So on Sunday Night Football, it's the Seattle Seahawks hosting the Green Bay Packers. Right now, the Rams are a half game out of first place in the West. If the Seahawks lose that game, they will fall to 8-6, the same exact record as the Rams, and both teams will be tied for first with 3 games left to play. Now, both teams, I think the Rams probably have a tougher schedule because they have to go on and play, the Jets next week, but then you have 2 divisional games to wrap it up. The Seahawks, I think they have a divisional game down the stretch as well, but they don't have just as tough of a schedule. Taking a look at it right now, they've won 4 in a row. They got Green Bay, which is a big game, but then they have to play Minnesota. That's, facing 2 of the top teams in the NFC North, Green Bay and Minnesota. Those are tough. Then you got the worst team in the NFC North, the Chicago Bears, and then you finish up with the Rams in Week 18. So, both sides could come out with the same exact record heading into Week 18, but for the Rams to be able to climb back and be tied for first place is huge. So they're cheering on the Green Bay Packers this week, hoping that the Pack get it done on the road. Seattle would fall to 8-6 and be tied up. And then next week, I like the matchup for the Rams to take first place. If all goes well and the Seahawks lose on Sunday Night Football in Week 15, it's going to be them playing the Minnesota Vikings at home while the Rams take on the New York Jets on the road. Rams get a win against New York and a Seattle loss in back-to-back weeks against Green Bay and then Minnesota. That put the Rams in first place with just 2 games left to play. So things could get really interesting, but also there's a really high chance both these teams have the same exact record going into that Week 18 winner-take-all. This has been the Los Angeles Rams Insider Podcast here on Sports Illustrated. I'm your Los Angeles Rams Insider, Tom Cavanaugh. You can follow me at TCAP30 on Twitter/X. Follow our insider pages at Rams Insider on SI. Thanks so much, everybody. We will see you again tomorrow.